Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to the Forgotten City, where I was going to direct your attention to our health meter and how it was refilling, but it refilled too fast for me to do that. So it seems like I don't really have to worry about it. Like, if we just hang out for a second and don't do anything, our health goes back to full without us having to worry about it. So, yeah, it would be super cool if you could stop bothering me. Okay. So, we have a lot of hints, a lot of plot lines now to follow. So we have the ability to tell all kinds of, we have the ability to tell Sentius that all kinds of people are potentially responsible for the Golden Rule being broken. Which I assume leads to him having them imprisoned under dubious pretexts, which for some reason is not a violation of the Golden Rule, because whoever's in charge here sucks ass. And then... But none of that's going to matter because nobody breaks the Golden Rule unless we do something, right? Like, even the assassin, whose only job here is to break the Golden Rule, doesn't actually do it unless we go over there and prompt. So, I don't know. As I gotta say, there's been a lot of these, like, time loopy puzzle games last couple of years, and I gotta say, this one feels very, inert to me. Like, it's just way less interested in happening when you aren't actively making it happen. And that really does reduce the feeling that it is like a world that makes any kind of sense or could exist without your interference. It makes the space feel as artificial as something like The Witness, but without the witness's obvious commitment to the feeling of artificiality, if that makes sense. I don't know. This is not really a serious problem. It's just like, it definitely does not feel good. Hey, you're the guy who wanted the bow.
One of these statues is worth on the outside.
We didn't actually talk to him, right?
Stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius.
I don't believe you. Hey, I need some silphium resin.
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
So, see, it was implied to us, I guess the conversation that Lucretia told us about must have already happened, right? Okay, fine.
Oh, you have it. I'm impressed.
Why? Why were you asking for it if you didn't think it was an amount that somebody could have?
Pleasure doing business. Can I help you with anything else?
No, not really. Who are you gonna vote for?
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us?
It's so weird that I can say I'd like you to vote for Sentius, but I can't say I'd like you to vote for Malleolus. Whatever.
Certainly.
I'm gonna leave now because I would love to try to get to this thing before it happens. Hi.
What are you doing in here?
Yep. I have this.
What? Yulia, you need to swallow this. Here, let me help you.
Okay. Like an AOL chat room.
Hopefully in a moment she should be able to breathe normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing and at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle?
It is absolutely the case that I am magic. Why, like, hold on a second here. Why is it not an option for me to be like, yeah, I'm definitely a servant of the gods, elect me, and like, I'll just be in charge and I'll fix everything. I'll let what's-his-name out of the cage and look, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. I'm gonna tell her I'm a time traveler.
A what? I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. I think it's your accent, because it sounded like you said time traveler. But whatever kind of traveler you are, that was like the gods hearing my prayers and intervening. You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud of yourself. She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments.
Stuff's,
and maybe she can
acting.
tell us who poisoned her, and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes. In the meantime, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is you need.
I am actually quite interested because if somebody did poison Yulia, the fact that the poisoning doesn't break the Golden Rule is going to tell us a lot about what's actually going on here. No, I'm good.
That's
Later.
a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
Hi, you're like just on your feet and totally fine, huh?
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest.
Oh, is that what she says? What is it that happened to you?
As much as I'm grateful that you tried to help me, it's just not safe for me to talk about it. Please, no more questions.
I kind of need to know how someone poisoned you without breaking the golden rule, though.
The golden rule. That's the least of my worries. The gods may be cruel, but Malleolus and Claudia are far crueler.
So is that who poisoned you?
Please, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I cannot help unless you tell me what happened, though.
Persistent as Nemesis, aren't you? I can tell you, but it's a long saga.
This is like a pretty annoying way to write a conversation in a video game where it's like she will tell you the thing, but you just have to listen to her tell you that she won't tell you the thing 3 times and then completely disregard her will. And like, if the end of the conversation tree is she does tell you anyway, just cut out all that shit in the middle, both because it's annoying to like keep pressing and also because it kind of paints the player character as like a weird consent ignoring asshole. Yeah, I have all the time in the world in like a weird way that I can't explain to you.
All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything. And then I learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did.
On the assumption that you'd be out of here before you ever had to pay back the loan.
I'm not proud of it, but yes, I was surprised he agreed to it, to be honest. But I was so happy to have the money I didn't question it. I had to sign an agreement, saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was?
I feel like this story kind of doesn't make any sense, right? The idea that she needs 1,000 denarii and she's like, it would take me 10 years to save up that much. It's not like on the outside world where you have a job and it pays stuff and you have costs and like, there's only 20 people in this village. There simply isn't an economy, right? There just isn't. You cannot tell me that they are actually running things that way. And anyway, there's just like unlocked boxes scattered all over the place with hundreds of denarii in them, and the construction of this thing, a lot of the time it seems like the writers forgot what their premise was. Like, I wonder if some parts of this started life as a game that takes place in a much more normal Roman city setting, and then they came up with this other idea and they transplanted a bunch of stuff without changing it. It's very strange.
You figured it out already. I wish I'd been so astute.
Yep, astute,
Drink
that's what I
this,
am.
she said, and you'll be out of here in no time. Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black eyes and she laughed. She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning.
So, like, the golden rule, the form of the golden rule here, and the form that the particular injustices that get visited on people in this place take, are obviously supposed to reflect some things about, you know, our real modern world, right? That certain the kinds of law breaking that give power to people who do not already exist in the power structure are expressly forbidden, while the kinds of abuses that are mostly performed by the powerful are totally fine and don't have any negative effects. Which is, like, I have expressed frustration at it before, but I think, like, it's doing a good job of presenting a world that feels unfair in a lot of the ways that our world feels unfair, and I'm very interested where they're going with it thematically. So I'm going to say, surely that would have broken the golden rule, but, like, no, obviously it doesn't break the golden rule, right?
That's what I said to the magistrate. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I'd signed over my labor for 30 years and there was nothing he could do. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the golden rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so he locked me in his villa. Confiscated everything I owned as collateral, and made me wear immodest, humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife Claudia was just as bad. She set me to work on an endless stream of futile, demeaning tasks. I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours, only for her to pour slop on it and hiss, "You missed a spot." Those two took everything from me. But they forgot to confiscate one thing. My hemlock.
So you poisoned yourself, which is kind of what we figured.
I just wanted it to be over. But it seems I messed that up too. Should have drunk all of it.
I was really hoping that somebody else did it and it would reveal something about, like, the nature of the enforcement of the golden rule. But it seems like it really is what it appeared to be at first, which is that there is some omnipotent force watching everything that happens. I was hoping we could find holes in it, you know? This is a wildly fucked up thing to say. I am so sorry to hear that.
I brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid.
So what'll happen to you now?
When I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort me back to their villa, and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought of a permanent solution. Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course.
You know, there's an interesting... Nobody seems to want to do it, and I guess I don't know that I would have the guts in a real situation where I thought my life was really at stake to do it either. But it does seem like there's a pretty obvious mutually assured destruction solution to all of this. Listen, though, I'm sorry. Can I do anything to help?
I doubt it. It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Huh. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
Okay, I have a better idea. How much would it cost to buy your freedom? Because, like, I definitely have the money.
A lot. But it doesn't matter. I made a suicide pact with Ulpius last night.
Yeah, so I hear.
He's in exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus and Aurelius set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me. He and I are in this together. He's probably already thrown himself from the bluff into Malleolus's villa by now. If so, I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him.
Well, maybe I can help him too. My guess is that he just doesn't jump if you don't go over there and start the conversation with him, so...
I doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time. I don't know who you are, or why you seem so determined to help me, but... thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get right on it. You should come with me, though. No, you're not gonna... Okay. Like I said, I'm sure he doesn't even...
Keep you safe.
I'm sure he doesn't even jump if you don't prompt him to jump, so... He's probably still up there. I don't actually know... Is there a way from down here? I'm just gonna go the way that we know works. We go all the way around the edge of the city. But, like, in theory, if she's really in a position that she regards as so bad that she would be willing to try suicide over it, then she should just tell Malleolus that if he doesn't relent, if he doesn't let her out of her contract, she will steal something small and insignificant, maybe from him, but maybe from somebody else, and just kill everyone in the city. Granted, with a move like that, you have to actually be willing to do it, but she was willing to take the hemlock, you know? Especially now that she has tried to kill herself. I would think that, you know, something like that may well pass. He might actually believe that. Hey there, Ulpius.
Salve, friend.
Yeah, I'm not
I'll
anywhere
take
near you,
welcome
nor am
to-
I attempting to talk to you. Yep, I really need to talk to
Alright.
Ulpius.
Can't believe this is
Yep,
how it
this
ends.
situation is, like, terribly constructed.
No.
I can't even skip this dialogue. There we go.
Why do you...
I know. Please,
Okay, come on.
please.
Yep, I'm gonna talk to him. It says bluff, but if I tell him to do this, he is going to jump, right?
Let me guess.
So this is a shame. I don't have the option of saying the thing about anything about the suicide pact, which is obviously what I should be doing here. Suicide is a crime against the Empire. No. So we tried this before, but we don't know that there aren't new dialogue options behind this now that we've saved Yulia. My big concern here, and this is like very... it's a little ridiculous, I guess, is that if we screw this up, and I just don't want to have to do it all again, because it's annoying. So let's try new dialogue options. I think you have the right to die if you're suffering badly enough.
You're not going to trick me.
Sort of neither here nor there, but
I'm no coward.
okay. I just think there are reasons to stay alive.
Like what? I'm stuck slaving away for that.
Sure, maybe we can be friends. This is not going to work. When we went down this road with him, he did mention the suicide pact, if I'm not mistaken. Let's...
You...
you
well,
never told me. You never believed me if I told you I can help solve your problem. I've already saved Yulia's life. I wonder if these two lead to different outcomes at all. You wouldn't think they would, the way they're worded, but the fact that they're giving me a choice makes me nervous that one of them will lead to him still jumping. I'll say I did it. I mean, I did do it. I'm gonna say I did it.
Oh, really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts.
Yeah, absolutely trivial.
Really? Wait. So, I guess you'd want me to work for you then.
No, you'd be free. I do have one favor to ask.
You'd do that for us? A couple of complete strangers.
Well, yeah.
It seems today we're both blessed. This did not turn out how I thought. Thank you, friend. I never thought people like you existed.
Time travelers with infinite money.
Thank you. I'll go and pay off our debts immediately. I just wish there was some way I could repay you. But I have nothing but the tunic on my back.
And presumably a vote. Listen, don't worry about it. Someday in the future, I may come calling.
I'll go and take care of things with Malleolus and tell Yulia the good news. Thanks again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for us.
Okay, so now I'm like super incentivized. Wow. He really took off. Now I am like super incentivized to not drop this and have to repeat the loop because I don't want to have to do that stuff again. Also, do I have enough money to do that stuff again? I might. Okay, I do. If it came right down to it. Not that it's hard to get more money. I suppose every single time that we reset the loop, we can go to the door behind the arrow lady. Actually, you know what? I'm going to create a save here. Slow save and quick save.
Salve, friend.
Yeah. Can we have a useful conversation now that that situation is resolved? Is there anything new?
Extraordinary.
No. Okay, it's all stuff we've done before. Odds are decent, at least, that she's either part of the harassment against what's his face, or she, knows something, but we don't have the option to ask her. So there's still this mysterious door. We could jump down into Malleolus's place and have a look around again now that we have a better idea of what's going on in the city. That might be useful.
Salve, friend.
Yeah. I'll show you who to salve.
Thank you.
You have no air control in this game, so I need to continue for last time. I need to jump up in the air and just edge myself off a little tiny bit so that we fall more straight down. It's weird. I felt like when we were jumping around down there, I felt like I was able to sort of curve myself in the air, but now it is definitely not letting me do that at all. Okay.
Thank you.
That time I did land in the water, but I just didn't land in the right, that part of the water is a little shallow. This was so easy last time. I didn't even it didn't even occur to me that it might be a problem. I guess if Ulpius doesn't break the bottom of the baths, then it looks like the deep part's not there. Maybe Ulpius has to commit suicide in order for you to be able to do this safely. I'm just looking down at the water and thinking, well, it must be deep enough. We know it's deep enough, but maybe because right when we did it last time, we dropped down into a cavern that had Ulpius at the bottom. So yeah, I guess that water's just not deep enough to sustain us without his impact. For real though, it should not be difficult to get people to elect me. I'm doing miracles left and right here. So we'll talk to Friendly Face. We'll see if we can't get him to run, because at this point, the most promising individual lead we have on something really interesting is getting that guy out of the cage. Wait, where did I not see him just walk past? Really? Oh, he went that way. Okay, well... Oh, stop it. Galerius, not Galliolus. What am I...
Ah, it's you again. Oh, no.
Is Galliolus a guy? Is that a... Listen, they all have names that have sort of the same function in my head, unfortunately. Hey, what do you think about this election?
I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like Sentius much, but Malleolus is almost as bad. Even I could do a better job. Me, a farmer. And I've never given a speech or put on a toga in my life.
Funny you should say that. Okay, I actually can't ask him to if he thinks he should stand, though.
Well, it's a long one and kind of sad, but I don't mind telling it.
Fine, it could be packed with useful information.
I'm a farmer. Always have been. I grew up in a small village in Britannia, Camulodunum, with my parents and 2 little sisters. Lovely part of the world. One day, when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men. My father told me to run into the house for his axe, and so I did. Sprinted so fast I almost threw up, but by the time I got back, he was bleeding out on the ground, and our cart was empty. That was my first encounter with the legions. My mother died of a broken heart soon after, and things went downhill from there. I took over the farmstead, but I was young. It was a struggle. More raiding started before too long. We'd come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were, and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick, and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. Still burns whenever I think about it.
I'm a little... It comes across as maudlin because of sort of like... The game doesn't have the gravitas that it needs to sell something like that, and so it just comes across as somebody writing like the edgiest thing they can think of. I don't know. I'm sorry to hear it.
Yeah, well, I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica led thousands of Britons in a rebellion against the Romans. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And those of us who survived, they enslaved. So, then I found myself being transported all the way to Rome to be sold to the highest bidder. I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways, Romanized my name and everything. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always found me, and I'd just end up right back where I was. I'd probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. You see, about 7 months ago, an enormous fire broke out in Rome. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I'd never seen anything like it. Human beings acting like cattle. I got swept up with them somehow, and the rest is a blur. The next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled across this place and started my life over again.
So 7 months ago, my impression when we were talking to the assassin was that it was something that happened much more recently than that, but I don't know, that could just be me misremembering. I am sort of wondering if like there's some weirdness with time going on here, you know, on account of we know for a fact that there is some kinds of weirdness with time going on here. Yeah, I'm glad things worked out in the end for a certain definition of worked out.
That's what I thought too, for a while. But it seems the gods aren't done tormenting me yet. See, I finally had my own farm again, safe from the grasping hands of the Romans. Or so I thought. Until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. Only he takes the best bits for himself, of course. He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden rule. I'm not sure I believe him, but then, what if he's right? So, it turns out our dear old magistrate is no better than the Legion thugs who took everything from me. I'm right back where I began. But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting, and he'll get his, one day. He'll get his. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get carried away sometimes.
I'm really curious what the mechanical difference between sure and sure lie is. Do we know for sure whether lying is against the golden rule? I'm gonna say sure.
Thanks, friend. I knew I liked you. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Was there something else you wanted to talk about?
Was the idea there that I am choosing in that moment whether or not I will have the option later to tell Sentius that he said that? Or... I don't... It's very strange. Do you happen to know a way out of here?
Well, as much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always more fruitful in another man's field, isn't it? But Scintilla, Sentius's daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me.
And what do you think about the golden rule?
Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, everybody here's got their own view about what we need to do to survive. But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to be good and just get on with it, you know?
Okay, I mean, that kind of doesn't make any sense because you can't do it if you don't know what it is, but alright, I'll be going now.
Alright, see you around.
So there's no way to get Galerius in on the plan to get Galerius elected, but maybe we don't have to. If we got a bunch of people to vote for him, would it matter? Oh, hey, Ulpius, I was just looking for you.
Shalom.
Indeed. None of these are the questions that I wanted to ask. Okay, fine. What's your story?
You mean where am I from and all that? Judea, originally. But when I was a child, I moved to Rome with my family, Romanized my name and spent most of my life in the Jewish district of Trans-Tiberim, across the Tiber from the main city. That's where I was when the fires broke out. Everyone was running toward the river and I, listening to my inner contrarian, ran the other way. Every road leading out of Rome was in chaos, full of people with all their belongings in carts and brigands preying on them. Several hours down the Appian Way, I saw another Jewish family being attacked by 3 opportunists. So I picked up a branch from the side of the road and went to defend them. I can only assume they got the better of me because the next thing I knew, I was waking up in a forest, by a river not far from here, with no memory of how I got there. It's strange though, because I still had my purse on me. Why would a robber knock me unconscious and throw me in a river, but not take my coins?
It's a fair question. Good on you, though, for risking your life to help others.
A lot of good it did me. And that family. I sometimes wonder what happened to them.
So yeah, it was even a quest objective, right, to ask him about the disappearance, but it's... Maybe we have to get down some of these dialogue trees a little bit. Do you know a way out of here?
I don't. But even if I did, I'm not going anywhere. I have unfinished business.
More? Okay, what do you think about the Golden Rule?
Well, neither of us have a couple of hours to stand around talking about theology, law, and collective punishment, so I guess you're looking for a pithy summary?
Do we not?
You remind me of an old story from my people about Hillel the Elder. He was approached by a Gentile and asked to explain the entire Torah while he stood on one foot. Obliging, he replied, "What is hateful to you, do not do to another. That is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Go and learn." Of course, what I want to know is, what kind of a god sees a young woman abducted and does nothing about it? Not my god. That's for sure.
Yes, I definitely have lots of questions about what kind of a god we are talking about here. I'm going to say this because I want to see if he contradicts me. We don't know she was abducted for sure, right?
Maybe you don't. I feel it in my bones.
Okay, well, that's not a useful contradiction. Hey, who are you going to vote for?
Sentius, I suppose. I'd have to be insane to vote for Malleolus after what he did to me.
Can I offer? No, I cannot offer another choice. Yeah, so like this idea of getting Galerius elected was raised to me, but I don't seem to be able to pursue it in any way. Maybe I do have to get Galerius to announce that he is running first, but we sure didn't have that choice while talking to him.
All right, friend. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, it was super useful to everyone. Also, we absolutely do have, hours and whatever. So, yeah, just can't... If I get back into a second conversation with you, does it give me new options? No.
All right, friend.
So... maybe we need to make Malleolus drop out of the election before we can get Galerius to run, but if so... I mean, there's no reason for us to think that other than the fact that this is not working otherwise. We got this idea from nowhere that a bow might be useful, even though the place where we got it, there didn't seem to be any way to use a bow for anything. It sure does seem like it would be great to find a way into the palace. I'm way into that. We need Dooley's key, but... I mean, maybe we could just find another way. Galerius said if Malleolus drops out, he'll nominate himself. Did he? I don't remember him saying that. That might be on me, though. Okay. Yeah. Wait, if I, hold on. Not that. Can I mark? No, I cannot mark these as objectives. Like I can make it the marked quest, but I can't like select a specific objective to mark, which is a shame because I'd really like to use that as a way of locating people at different times. Okay, so you're mad about your whole deal, and I probably need to speak to Nevia to do something about that.
I hope you're coping. Oh, it's you again. Is everything all right?
I'm so glad you're so happy to see me. I mean, I guess we better go through her whole thing, too. I was kind of hoping that she'd be able to help me with how to talk to Ulpius, but...
You mean my life story? Oh, well, I grew up as part of a big family in Rome. Me and 3 older sisters. Our father found good husbands for my sisters, but I wasn't cut out for that kind of life. So he found me a job as a scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while, until 7 months ago when the fires came. My colleagues and I worked desperately to try to protect our warehouse. We must have had 100 workers passing buckets of water, chanting prayers to Vulcan, but they fell on deaf ears. The fire was relentless, and it claimed everything and everyone. Well, almost everyone. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber with the crowds. I remember diving into the river, and then the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I consider myself fortunate. At least I'm still alive.
And, like, obviously a lot of these stories suggest that the person died and then, like, it's, are we in the afterlife or whatever. But, like, it's not actually interesting as a question because it doesn't change anything about our circumstances or the way we would behave, right? Maybe we're dead, maybe this is an afterlife thing. Either way, our goals are the same. Hey, do you know a way out of here?
If that's your idea of a joke, it's not funny. Go away.
You literally owe me your life, and that was like 4 seconds ago. You need to behave.
I know what kind of person you are. Leave me alone.
The thing is, that would be an insane reaction for her to have, even if I hadn't just saved her life and gotten her out of slavery. But, like, the characterization, like, I can't even really comment on the puzzle design too much yet because we have not successfully, like, solved any puzzles, I don't think. But all of the, like, individual dialogue writing and stuff is so bad. A small stick with a sponge attached. This must be what the Romans used instead of toilet paper. It appears to be for communal use. Best to put this back immediately. Listen, I didn't say pick it up. I said examine. Okay, so trying to find a way into the Upper Cistern seems like, I mean, it kind of seems like our only move as far as actually getting out of here goes, right? None of the other things we have come across seem to have any, like, there's nothing we can do to move toward any of them. Have we actually gone in here? Oh, this is Malleolus's. Hold on, I thought Malleolus's was up these stairs because this is where the guy tries to block you, but no, absolutely not. Okay, so we're in Malleolus's, and yep, this water's like 4 inches deep, so that makes sense. So if we had some dirt on Malleolus, we could get him to potentially drop out of the election, maybe. Maybe. Hard to imagine what it would be, that would have that effect. A Greek sculpture of a young boy's head, I guess. Either that or some cauliflower. Hard to tell. Okay. Obius to his lost love. May God watch over you. Please know I held on as long as I could. I only hope we meet again in Gan Eden. Yeah. Think we did see that one before. Iulia to her captors Malleolus and Claudia, curse you to the depths. By the time you read this, I'll already be dead, because death is preferable to another day in debt bondage to you. May vultures peck out your livers in Tartarus for all of eternity. Should we take this now that it's not going to be a thing anymore? Appears to be a bottle for hemlock. It smells musty, like mouse urine. Yep, that makes sense. I do know exactly what mouse urine smells like. Very common smell everybody's deeply familiar with. I don't know. I kept rats for several years. It's probably pretty similar, and I will say this. Rat urine is definitely distinctive. I could, in fact, identify it, I think. So maybe I should stop being so sassy. Did we go upstairs here before?
You're not supposed to be in here.
Says who? I know. Where do you keep your valuables? I appreciate the directness of this approach, but how about this? Hey, can we talk?
Talk? What business could you possibly have with me?
Oh, that worked. She didn't tell me to get out. Why are you locked in this room?
My marital affairs are no concern of yours. Thank you very much.
What's your story? Will she actually have like a congenial conversation with me after this start?
I think a better question is, why am I being interrogated by a stranger who just barged into my villa? I have quite enough marriage trouble already, without having to explain to my husband why I'm receiving strange women in private.
That's like the first time in a conversation that the context of the conversation has ever been remembered by the person that we're talking to. Do you happen to know a way out of here? She's going to be mad if we ask this. What do you think about the golden rule? We are going to ask. We'll ask it last, though.
I think it's about to be broken if you don't hurry up and leave.
I don't believe you. Do you know a way out of here?
Preferably the way you came in, by which I mean, please leave.
Okay.
Finally.
I mean, I'm not actually going to go, but I am going to tell you that I'm going because I want this conversation to end. Okay, that's just money. She's going to do absolutely nothing because what could she do? She can't throw me out because that would be assault. That was like not helpful at all. It is not useful to go into that room. I guess we can go talk to Malleolus. I can't imagine him being much more useful.
Domitius doesn't usually let anyone in here without a hefty tribute, so you must have been desperate to see me. Well, what do you want?
Yeah, we are okay.
I trust you can see yourself.
We have nothing new. Nothing new to ask. So yeah, this... maybe whatever dirt we're supposed to find on him is something that we access via conversation. Not something that we find in his villa, because this was not useful.
Still here?
The fact that the only way to open doors in this game is just to hurl yourself bodily against them is so weird. What a decision.
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Weird voices in my head that keep telling me to talk to you. Hey, what's your story? Yep,
Oh
it's a
my.
very natural expression.
I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
Yeah, okay. Sorry, what should I have done?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Okay, sorry, what's a Vestal priestess?
You really don't know? You are from far away, aren't you? Well, I am one of the priestesses, charged with keeping the sacred flame in Rome's shrine of Vesta burning. I take it you know who Vesta is?
Why don't you remind me?
Vesta is the mother goddess of hearth and home, and the guardian of the Roman people.
Okay, that was shorter than I was expecting. How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
She's very, she clearly finds my diction very amusing. A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river, unconscious, and sent me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
Why would it seem odd? I think I see where this is going.
You do? Well then, have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
Okay, so you've already done this. You've already figured this out. You're being a bit coy.
I know. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you, too.
Okay, here we go. This might actually be information. Sorry, what? Explain.
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the golden rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
The idea that the pattern broke her, like the game is setting itself up for a difficult task here, where it has to be something that when we look at it, we don't just go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I just don't, based on what we've seen so far, I do not believe that the writing of the game could possibly be up to the task. Also, I was really hoping for something there that is a little bit more, a little juicier than she wasn't like that, and then she was like that. And sadly, we did not receive it. I may have already noticed the pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
Okay, come on. You obviously know. I mean, listen, the river comes up a lot.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
I mean, a lot of memory lapses.
That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. What else?
At least 2 people have mentioned the money that they had on them.
Yes. I suppose that could be something. But then most of us do tend to carry coins on our person, don't we? It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier, you met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes?
The game is really chewing on this. Like, it really wants your mind to be blown.
I see. And was this Karen, by any chance, wearing a hood?
She was wearing a hoodie. But how could you have known that?
Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
It's not safe in there. There's a guy in there. If we go over there, it's going to cause a whole thing.
What? How could you know that? And why are you talking to me instead of doing something about it? Please, go and stop him.
Damn
and come
it.
back to me once we're no longer in danger.
That's a really, really annoying way for that to terminate. No, I know. Don't the priestess me when I was literally just talking to the priestess. Is there anything else? I mean, we know what's in this chest. And we know that it's not a great idea to steal from it. In Octavia's chest, did we read this already? You may not be able to worship openly here. Special place waiting for you deep in the caves behind the theater. Yeah, turn right at the first fork and again at the second. So that's the cave system that we were in before, right? Well, caves behind the theater. Yeah, those caves did run behind the theater. That's not where we entered them at first, but they did run up there. So right at the first fork and again at the second. These are instructions that want us to enter at the theater at least, right? I don't suppose you're going to be useful now? Okay.
All right.
He's all like, well, we don't have the afternoon to talk about a thing, but like, he doesn't have, I know that he doesn't have anything to do, and I also know that I don't have anything to do. I do not feel like we are in a position to approach the baths. So she's just going to wait in here, huh? All right, entering the cave system from the theater. We're gonna go right and then right. Let's see what comes of this. Are we going to see something that I missed? Oh, maybe. Did I notice this before? Okay, that is interesting. Circular stone disc with a symbol of a fish carved into it. It looks like it might be religious in nature. Yes, I suspect it might. Partially eaten loaf of bread, still fresh. Whoever owns it probably hasn't finished with it. Do not steal it. They probably, if they're like, if whoever has the wherewithal to lock this up, they should probably lock the discs and stuff in there with it. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, countered by To the Lions with you, and then like a really good drawing of a lion. Really top drawer. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So there's a way to climb up. I don't think that's a secondary exit. I think that is intended as a how do we get the key? But I think that is intended as a thing that you do after you have entered through the normal through the door. Alright, just hold on tight. Nope, okay. The plant stuff is super weird. The thing with the plants
love
is
springtime.
Okay. The thing with the plants is the only thing that like suggests that we will have to do something supernatural. Because like otherwise, how would we manipulate the plants? So we need a way to convince the assassin that we're not a cult. Or just that we're not, like, specifically the people responsible for the fires, right? I mean, we can just try the conversation again. Here, let's tell Fabia to get out of here. I don't have a weapon.
None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all. You just have...
Yep, alright. I'll get right on it.
Thank...
Do not go in there.
What?
Just trust me. I heard it from a very wise man named Ace Ventura. Just get. Okay. We're going to save the game here, and then we're going to give this a go, I suppose. We'll see if... Interesting. Wait, this is a thing I've not gone into before. That bust is familiar to us. A Greek statue, probably of the goddess to whom this temple is dedicated. Perhaps a local Greek resident knows more about her. Yes, perhaps. But this is infinitely more interesting than which goddess that is. A painted Greek face depicting some kind of battle. Same thing that Malleolus has in his house. Yeah, okay. Something interesting is going on here. A Greek lyre, played by being strummed with a plectrum. And I don't happen to have one on me. How embarrassing. I'm starting to think... Same one of those lanterns, so again, those wouldn't burn for very long, right? Somebody's been through here. Well now. I think you and I need to have some words, friend.
Ah, a visitor. Welcome, welcome. May I ask your name?
You first.
It is best you do not know my name, for merely to speak of my existence in the city above could bring destruction on you all. Tell me, what brings you all the way down here?
Okay, so that is again a suggestion that the whatever's triggering the destruction is not omnipotent. That it is, we're talking about like a something that has to be able to perceive acts, which is contradicted by the test that we ran. But you know, maybe limited omniscience and I don't know. Well, I did find this place by accident. I was just kind of wandering around as I do.
Then perhaps the fates brought you here to learn the secrets of this place. I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request. I've been living down here alone for many years, with nobody to talk to but myself.
So please,
The one
exhaust
thing I
my
long
dialogue
for
tree.
Above all else, before I die, is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute. I'm hoping that person is you. Let us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible for the Golden Rule?
Extremely no.
You have much to learn. It's best if you figure it out on your own. Come back once you've made progress.
You know, I'd really like you to just tell me, and if you don't, I will pound a nail through your forehead and golden rule the whole lot of us.
Then you should speak with your contemporaries in the city above. Ask them about their stories and see if you detect a pattern of some sort. It is best if you come to this realization for yourself. You would never believe me if I told you.
And the reason he says that is because the answer is Pikachu. And you're going to be like, what? How could that possibly be the case? But... Alright, is there anything of value to me down here other than you? I hate that this is another way that my progress is blocked by this damn assassin. Okay, it's just weird lighting on the wall. I thought I saw more graffiti there. Alright, I've got myself properly turned around. Is this... Yeah, this is the way back up. Hold on, I'm not ready to go back yet. I want to at least try the doors down here. This place is not spatially sound. Locked? Yeah. A large tub which has been converted into a rather eccentric bed. I mean, I guess. I can't see how you would sleep in that unless your body is
you've returned.
Very oddly shaped indeed. Well, shoot. Shoot and also darn it. It's very spooky here. I was kind of hoping we could like find a, I don't know, a hint or a gun. The thing is, like, I joked about being concerned that we were gonna like miss not having a gun, but like,
you've returned.
There's no situation where we would be able to use a gun in any meaningful way, right? Because if we do any violence at all, it just instantly kills us. Unless we can figure out, you know, a way around the golden rule, a way that we could shoot somebody without being found out. So what I was gonna say is, I'm wondering if we're approaching the thing that I said I was told about the game, and I suspect that that's what is beyond that weird dude. Okay. I'm gonna save again. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try this conversation with the assassin one time, and then probably call it for today. Provided that it doesn't work, which I'm assuming it won't, because we're never allowed to ask people things.
Stop
or like
right there.
we're never allowed to
I'm
say
looking.
new or useful things to people, even when we know that we should ask them. And I don't feel like I even know a thing I should say here. So like. I can tell the assassin to go to the shrine, which magically collapses on anyone who walks into it. It's completely absurd that that's how that works. But that's just me killing him. Is that not going to break the golden rule? I mean, I guess let's try it.
Thank you for your service to the Empire.
Sure. I'll just get out of your way there. Don't you be in a hurry now or anything. Nope, it's really, really not important. Just go ahead and you take your time there. First building, and then, yep, here we go.
Curse you, cultist.
I just... everything about that. Sure, his bow. This isn't stealing, he's dead. All loyal sons of Rome are ordered to hunt and execute arsonist and murderer Tiberius Quinctius Crispus. He is about 40 to 50 years old. I don't know. Average height, average build, dark hair, heterochromatic. A known associate of cultists and suffers from delusions of grandeur. Well, that is relatively good blackmail fodder. I will say that. He's got some arrows. He has a single coin, which I will take. Because why not? Why wouldn't I rob him? So we can ask Malleolus whether he's Quinctius. Yeah, no, I know. But I think that really sounds like a tomorrow kind of thing. Ooh, that didn't load smoothly. That is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I am not happy with the way it went down. I think that was pretty hacky, but we did it. We seem to have solved actually several of our problems at the same time here. So when you come back next time, tomorrow, I reckon it's going to just be a flurry of solution getting and then getting frustrated by the poor quality of those solutions. And we'll see you then.